All right, what is up, you guys? We are back with another Summerslam review. One of my personal favorites, Summerslam 1992. With my special guest at this time, go ahead and introduce yourself.
The Relaxing Ghost.
As always. So, this was at Wembley Stadium in London, England. And this had, as far as I know, to this day, still has the biggest attendance in terms of a WWE pay-per-view. And I'm not just saying the announced, like a real attendance record here.
Legit, eh? 80,000 plus. Yeah.
And then I think WrestleMania 32 was around like 79-ish. So, yeah, it just still didn't beat it. It's a record that's still here to this day.
Yeah, and it's the only UK pay-per-view they've only ever done, right? Besides like Rebellion and things like that that were never aired in the States.
Like a Big Four pay-per-view, yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, and this has that epic feel to it. The crowd was electric for this.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my favorite things going back and watching this, I have to watch it every time, is when they're interviewing people in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And the kid's like, "Oh, British Bulldog's gonna win whether he likes it or not." Like
crazy.
I can't believe that made the cut. But yeah, the opening match we had the Legion of Doom defeating Money Inc., which was IRS and Ted DiBiase for the tag team, just a tag team match. This went 15 minutes and 10 seconds. Thought this was a solid opening tag team match.
Yeah. I thought this was for the tag titles at first. Guess I was wrong here, but yeah, the Legion of Doom was super over in this time period here. Yeah. The past couple years, they were involved with the tag title matches, and here I thought they would have been in the tag team match as well, the tag title match. Still a good match overall. They come down on the Harleys. It's an epic moment. Really cool visual, seeing them, ride down on the motorcycles down that big long ramp.
Yeah, that ramp was huge.
Yeah.
And they even elevated the ring a few feet. So then, because that Wembley Stadium had huge floor seats, huge section for floor seats. So it's even cool to have that like nice little aesthetic setup.
Yeah. And it looks better, like, for the audience, too, right?
Yeah, that's why they do. That's why they elevate it, because the floor seats are so, the floor section's bigger than the...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. So, I think they did the same thing for WrestleMania 6, too, I think. So then we had Nails defeating Virgil. Kind of forgettable match. We just had Virgil and... I'm not a Virgil fan personally. It's just, I don't know. And this was before Nails tried to attack Vince McMahon. So
yeah, Virgil had his moment, I think, the year prior, right? He won the $1 million title, and then nothing really came of his push. So he was pretty much just putting guys over by this point.
Yeah. And then we had Rick Martel versus Shawn Michaels with Sensational Sherry, one of my all-time favorite managers. This ended in a double countout. And this had that weird stipulation of no hitting in the face.
Yeah.
And I think for what it was actually a pretty good match.
Yeah, I liked it. This was right at the beginning of Shawn Michaels' solo run too, right?
Yeah, because he had been at WrestleMania 8 before this. Yeah. And that was his first singles WrestleMania match, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this was when Shawn Michaels was making... This is when he still had the female... vocals.
Sherry.
Yeah, this just...
Yeah, him and Sherry, I thought, worked really good together. I always liked them together better than, like, Sherry and Macho Man. I thought that was forced.
Yeah, I didn't like that, but I think it worked perfect with Michaels.
Yeah.
And then we have the Natural Disasters defeating the Beverly Brothers. This is for the tag team championship.
Right.
Kind of a forgettable match. I wasn't really a fan of either of these teams personally.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of forgettable. It's for the tag titles and pretty much just a squash match.
Yeah. And then we have Crush defeating Repo Man. That's a dream match for you.
Yeah.
Can never
And
go
these
wrong.
guys are former tag team champions.
Yeah.
This is Repo Man was the other Axe or Smash, right?
Yeah. So then we have the Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. And throughout the night, Lord Alfred Hayes, of course, was going around looking for Mr. Perfect and was trying to interview everybody. So that was kind of entertaining and just kind of campy throughout the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah,
But,
I like to do the things like that.
Yeah. Something
Trying to get an interview, trying to get the scoops and things like that.
Something you don't get nowadays, unfortunately.
Right. No.
So, what are your thoughts on this match compared to their WrestleMania 7 match the year prior?
That's a tough one to top because that's one of my favorites is their WrestleMania match. But I thought this was a decent match between the two of them. Savage, of course, retains the title here, but Warrior gets his win back or his wins, whatever, right?
Yeah.
By DQ. This was kind of setting up something else with Savage, right? With Ric Flair getting involved and whatnot.
Yeah.
Overall, I think Savage should have went over clean here. He was the champion.
Yeah.
And he was, coming out of retirement around that time as well when Warrior beat him the previous year.
And one of my favorite WrestleManias is WrestleMania 8. One of my favorite matches, of course, is Ric Flair and Macho Man at WrestleMania 8. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of rippling over onto SummerSlam here.
Yeah.
And, I just don't. I didn't like the count out.
No.
I think this one big flaw that this pay-per-view has is there are a lot of just kind of shitty finishes.
Right.
Unfortunately. So, I enjoyed the match for what it was. I'm just not a fan of the finish, especially at a Big Four pay-per-view for the world title. The last thing I want to see is a count out.
Yeah. And they didn't have many pay-per-views in this day.
Yeah. So then we had The Undertaker defeating Kamala by disqualification.
Yeah.
I like Kamala. You have Harvey Winkleman and Kimchi. It's kind of a throwaway match here. And then after that, we actually had a dark match, which is really interesting. A match that just didn't air on the pay-per-view was Tatanka defeating the Berserker in a singles match.
Oh, yeah.
Why did that match not air?
Is it after the pay-per-view or?
It's in between Taker's match and the main event.
Yeah, it might have been intermission or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe those time constraints. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure the answer's out there. I'll look it up after we do
because of the time zone or the time changing, something like that.
Yeah, I'll look it up quick and see if I can find an answer. But
I just actually noticed that now.
Yeah. So then we have your main event, the first Intercontinental Championship main event, British Bulldog defeating Bret Hart.
Yeah.
And this went 25 minutes. And I know Bret Hart, he likes this match, but he pretty much had to carry Davey Boy throughout this whole match.
Oh, yeah.
Which it's pretty evident, but I don't think you could have put Bret Hart over in this match.
Oh, no. Definitely not.
Yeah, it's Wembley Stadium. That crowd is still one of the biggest pops when he gets the win. It's insane.
Yeah. People are just going nuts. 80,000 fans going crazy.
Yeah,
This was
yeah.
this was the right call to make it the main event as well.
Oh yeah, and
You know,
especially if you're gonna do a disqualification or a count out for the WWE title match, you'd rather have a clean, feel good moment for the main event.
right.
Which it's phenomenal moments, and hopefully we can get another pay-per-view over there sometime. I would love to see a Wembley Stadium WrestleMania.
Oh yeah. Or even another SummerSlam, any type of pay-per-view.
Yeah.
We don't get like many B pay-per-views even in Canada.
Yeah. Well, you're getting SummerSlam at least.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't think it's as sloppy as Brett makes it out to be. You know, there is a few noticeable botches here and there, but overall, I think the match flows pretty good. But you can see Davey getting, blown up here and there.
Yeah.
And they're definitely calling a lot of spots on the fly.
Yeah, but some of the best matches are called on the spot, so I will give it that. Yeah, it's a good match and everything. So,
Yeah.
what would you give this for a letter grade?
Oh, for sure. It's probably going to be a B plus or an A. More, probably a B plus.
Yeah,
A lot of
I'm gonna give it a solid B.
yeah. It's for sure one of my favorites, but a lot of the undercard, it really didn't go well together.
I think my biggest problem was a lot of the finishes. You have disqualifications, you have countouts.
Right.
I don't like that on pay-per-views. I don't like that regardless, unless it's for storyline reasons. But still, I think this is a great pay-per-view and one that I always like to go revisit.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic pay-per-view that fans will be talking about forever,
Yeah.
Bret Hart and the Bulldog stealing the show.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Go check out Relaxing Ghost channel and give your thoughts down below of SummerSlam 92. Peace out.
Peace.